You ever get the feeling that the universe is trying to tell you something? Well, in this explainer, we're diving deep into that exact idea. We're going to explore these incredible, hidden connections that might just link everything from the cosmos to the health of our society, all the way down to the rhythm of our own heartbeat. So get ready. We're about to go on a journey to see the world less as a random series of events and more as a place filled with these profound echoes and signs.
All right, let's kick things off with a pretty challenging question. Usually when we think about getting sick, we think of it as a biological problem, right? A virus, some rogue cells, a genetic hiccup. But what if there's another layer to it? What if an illness isn't just a malfunction? What if it's actually a message, something trying to tell us something really, really important?
And that idea brings us to the core concept from our source material. It's this thought that a physical disease might actually be the physical manifestation of something, well, not physical, a spiritual ailment, if you will. To put it another way, what's happening in our bodies could just be the final physical echo of an imbalance that actually started somewhere way, way deep.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about something the source calls a terrestrial sign. Think of it like this. It's an event here on Earth that's basically a physical reflection of something that has already happened on another plane. The analogy in the source is perfect, actually. It's like the moon. The moon doesn't have its own light, right? It just reflects the light of the sun. The sign in this case is the reflection. It's not the original event. So that brings us to this next concept, which is called the vestige of sin. Now, hold on, don't get hung up on the word sin in a religious sense. Here, it's really framed more as a universal principle, kind of like cause and effect. It's the consequence, the ripple effect that happens when some fundamental boundary gets crossed without permission. And that boundary could be anything, territorial, ecological, or even spiritual. It's all about the natural fallout that comes from messing with a fundamental order of things.
And according to the source material, the ultimate consequences of crossing these boundaries come in the form of 4 vestiges. And yeah, you guessed it, they sound a lot like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You've got war, for instance, which is seen as the consequence of ignoring another nation's sovereignty. But for our purposes today, we're really going to zoom in on one: plague, or disease. And that's presented as what happens when we cross those natural and ecological lines.
Okay, so if a widespread disease can be a sign, what's it a sign of? What's the message? Well, the idea here is that certain illnesses can act like an omen, like they're holding up a giant mirror to society, and that mirror forces a society to look at the very flaws it's been trying so hard to hide.
And this is where it gets really, really specific. In this framework, an ailment like leprosy, which, historically forced people into isolation, becomes this powerful physical critique of a society that abandons its most vulnerable people. Or deafness, that becomes a metaphor for a society that just refuses to listen to the cries of those in need. It's a pretty challenging way to reframe illness, isn't it? As a kind of societal commentary.
So the takeaway here, the really crucial point, is that these omens aren't just passive signs for us to sit back and observe. No, they're active challenges. They're physical events that basically force a society to look inward, to finally confront the hypocrisies and injustices it's probably been happy to ignore.
All right, so if a whole society can get thrown out of whack and create these big echoing signs, it kind of begs the question, what about us as individuals? And that's where we're going next. We've looked at the big societal picture, but can we take these same ideas of harmony and order and apply them to our own internal world? Is it actually possible to master our own internal cosmos?
Well, according to our source, the answer is a resounding yes. And the key, the entry point to actually influencing our own bodies, our own physiology, is something we all do every second of every day, usually without even thinking about it. It's our breath.
Just think about the difference for a second. When your breathing is all over the place, chaotic, out of sync with what your body needs, that creates disharmony. You're just wasting energy. You get tired fast. But when you learn how to create a harmonious rhythm, you conserve your stamina, you enhance your endurance. The source even points out that this kind of conscious control is one of the huge differences between, say, an elite athlete and the rest of us.
So what's the goal of all this? It's actually breathtakingly simple, but at the same time, incredibly powerful. The whole point is to consciously sync up 2 of your body's most fundamental rhythms, the rhythm of your breath and the rhythm of your heartbeat, until they're basically moving as one.
And when you achieve that synchronization, the result is unity. Suddenly, all of your body's systems, your blood flow, your oxygen distribution, even your brain function, they all start working together.
They become this single, powerful, harmonious, and incredibly efficient engine. And you can actually feel the benefits. This internal unity can lead to some very real physical and mental upgrades. We're talking boosted speed, heightened alertness, enhanced physical power. But here's the really wild part. It's also seen as the very first step toward consciously controlling things in your body that are normally totally automatic. Think about that. So let's bring this all back home. How does something so small, so simple, the microscopic act of breathing, connect all the way back to those huge cosmic ideas we started with? Let's trace the connection. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here. We started way out there, exploring this provocative idea that disease could be like a mirror reflecting a society's hidden problems. And then we drilled all the way down to the personal level, right? We saw how a super practical technique like conscious breathing can bring your own internal world into this state of powerful harmony.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought. This whole idea is woven through with this theme of patterns and rhythms and echoes. And if something as simple as the rhythm of your own breath can have such a profound effect on your body, well, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden rhythms are out there, shaping our lives, shaping our societies, shaping the entire universe, just waiting for us to finally tune in and listen?